Well, good morning, everyone. When I came in, you were watching a video from the governor. Did anyone give you a Memphis greeting this morning? No? Well, welcome to Memphis, okay? You're going to have a great time while you're here. You know, the tour this afternoon to Graceland is fantastic. The tours that are arranged on Wednesday are unbelievable. You're really going to enjoy looking at our city and seeing all the transportation amenities that we have available. This is kind of a commercial on what we do at the University of Memphis. Our IFTI, our Intermodal Freight Transportation Institute, was founded in 2007 through a federal grant. We received the second round of funding as a university transportation center, and we developed a consortium where we were the southern hub along with the northern hub of the University of Wisconsin. And I know you guys are foresters. University of Wisconsin has an excellent forestry program. By the way, speaking of foresters, my son has a bachelor's degree in forestry. He's now a neuropsychologist, but he still sits on the board of the Fayetteville Urban Forestry Commission. So his heart is still in it. Always, you know, there are always strings attached to federal money, right? You know, you don't give you 100% funding. So we had to scrounge around and find partners to provide the additional funding we need to carry out our projects. And these are just some of the partners. CN Railroad is one of our primary supporters. They've been really, really helpful. And the Tennessee Department of Transportation, we do lots of research projects with the Tennessee Department of Transportation and with other universities throughout the state of Tennessee. A couple of years ago, we just finished the project working with the University of Tennessee with their transportation center focused on the short line railroads and their impacts throughout the state of Tennessee. Our IFTI is we're linking people to solutions in freight and logistics through research, education, and tech transfer. Now, one of the things I added is that, you know, why are you guys here, or why did we decide to develop a transportation focused on freight? And by the way, we're just a little bit different from the previous speakers from UT who represent the business side and supply chain. We're more on the infrastructure side, looking at infrastructure needs and how they support the necessary supply chain. So this quadrimodal strategy in Memphis, rail, river, runway, road, etc. We have 5 Class 1 railroads in Memphis. You know, this is one of the reasons you guys are here, is because we are such a great logistics center. There are 7 Class 1 railroads in the U.S. We have 5 of them here. Several have intermodal container yards, some very, very huge ones. We're the 4th largest port on the Inland River. I see some of you are going to go on a tour on Wednesday to see the port. I think you'll really, really enjoy that. The 2nd largest cargo airport in the world, the largest in the United States. We were just eclipsed by Hong Kong 3 or 4 years ago. But this is, of course, the 800-pound gorilla, FedEx, right? And then we have 2 interstate highways, 2 new interstates, I-22 running from Memphis down to Birmingham, and I-69 coming down from Michigan through Indiana and to us. So our pillars are, you know, research, education, and outreach. Like most university activities, we're really focused on transportation operations, planning, and workforce. And what I want to talk about most is this workforce activity, something a little different that you might not have thought about. Here's some of the past research we've done. We've developed the infrastructure plan, worked with a consultant on the infrastructure plan for Memphis. We did a needs assessment of the Delta Regional Authority, which is kind of a sister agency to the ARC, runs from Louisiana to Southern Illinois. Right now we're doing some work in biologistics. This is a big field right now, is how do you transport biological things and keep the temperature right and the environment right. It's quite a challenge. Our outreach activities, we have an annual freight conference free to anyone who would like to attend. And then we have another conference in the spring really dealing with getting people interested in transportation careers. And that's become kind of our major focus. We do run the whole gamut of things. We offer programs for K through 12 kids and our undergraduate civil engineering program, a graduate program, and we have a transportation leadership academy, which we haven't offered it the past couple of years, but we've had several sessions and had participants in there from both the public and private sector, and this was very, very successful. Some of our new projects, as I said, are focused on workforce. We are partnering with a high school here in Memphis, East High School, focused completely on transportation STEM. You know what STEM is? Science, technology, engineering, mathematics. This high school is a transportation focus. All these kids will be getting a background in transportation. Not necessarily college prep either, because as part of that program, we have diesel technology, we have aviation technology. You know, looking at the needs, you know, too often now people say if you don't go to college, you know, it's not worth anything. We have a tremendous need, as you all know, for technicians and for skilled workers that are they're just unfilled positions. A diesel mechanic could make $100,000 today, you know, working overtime and, you know, a great career. We are also part of the National Career Pathways Initiative, which I'll talk about a little more detail. We're focused on really transportation operations in not only logistics operations, but traffic operations and also transit operations. This has been our impact. I think we've been very successful. We've had, you know, over $1 million in research expenditures. We've got lots of students. Our researchers publish. We engage a lot of people in our outreach activities. And I think we have a pretty strong presence here in the Memphis community. But in the few minutes we have, I wanted to talk about our workforce development efforts, because these are this is the area where I think we're making the greatest impact today. How do we get the next generation of kids involved in transportation? You know, sometimes we talk to kids and you say, what's transportation? Oh, that's a bus driver, you know. You know, well, it's a lot more than that, you know. There's a lot more opportunities out there. So you got to tell the story. And you got to do things a little different, but you got to get them when they're young. You got to tell people the story very, very early, even in grammar school. You know, second, third grade, have materials that let them know what transportation is and, you know, how dynamic it could be and what kind of careers could be available. Some of the challenges we face, you know, as I said, people aren't aware of what's available in transportation, what kind of jobs are out there. Overcoming the stigma that everybody needs a 4-year degree. We had a superintendent of public schools here in Memphis that said everyone's going to college. Well, at the time we had about 40%, I think, dropout, didn't even finish high school, or 30% at least, you know, so that was totally unrealistic. You know, we need skilled workers, but the people don't know what these occupations are, so we have to, you know, get the word out about, you know, what kind of jobs are available, where people can contribute. And we also have to look through the whole multiple generational thing. Here I've been teaching at the university for, you know, over 30 years, and I don't even understand some of these young kids today. They come in, they just don't, the work ethic is very different, you know, what they want out of school, what they want out of a job. We really have to look at the social aspects. And speaking of that, one of the things we emphasize in all the things we do with transportation careers is the soft skills. And I'm sure you can relate to that. You know, to get across to young people, they got to come to work on time. They got to smile. They got to look somebody in the face. They got to do, you know, get the job done when they say they're going to get it done. You would be surprised talking to young people today how much we need to do to, get those soft skills across to everyone. It's a challenge. Too busy, but I just want to show you the kinds of things we're doing on career pathways. And this is for diesel mechanics. So way on the left, you got the knowledge, skills, and abilities that they need. Next is what program of study they could do. Next is what kind of certifications are available. And then last, what kind of jobs are available and what they pay. As I say, too busy for you guys to read, but we've developed these for all kinds of skill sets, for all kinds of jobs. Truck drivers, diesel mechanics, and here's one for data scientists and logicians. We have a whole slew of these. And what we're involved with now is trying to get this career pathway information into the high schools so that kids can be preparing themselves if they are STEM students or if they are going to be a diesel mechanic. Just get ready for what's coming and go up the ladder, find the pathway. And things are changing now. Things are really changing, and that's our challenge here of dealing with disruptive technologies. All these kinds of things, autonomous vehicles, shared mobility, the Uber and Lyft, Internet of Things, virtual reality. It's changing the way we do things, and it's changing the preparation. Timing of traffic signals. That used to be my bailiwick as a civil engineer. I could time traffic signals. Now they're so darn sophisticated, I need an electrical engineer next to me or a IT person next to me. How do we educate people? How do we get all that stuff into their career pathway? It's a real challenge. And, some people say, young people today, a child born today will never have a driver's license, blah, 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 all autonomous vehicles. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's going to have an impact on what they do and the way they're, the transportation. So I think even if you are not directly in transportation, the impact of all these disruptive technologies are going to be significant in your career and in the people that you are hiring in the future, and what kind of backgrounds they have as they come to you, and what you do in your industry to kind of keep them involved, to give them the skills they need to be on top of the game. It's a challenge for all of us. So I thought this would be appropriate. Thank you. And I guess we'll take some questions from the panel when we get together. Is that correct?
So what we're